Welcome to the timeless forgotten mysteries. The revolution that began with Nepal's youth on Monday set the entire nation on fire. The same spark that brought down the Oli government was now threatening to consume Nepal itself. Within just 24 hours, the revolution spiraled into complete chaos. What started as Gen Z's protest against corruption soon turned into riots and looting, shocking the country. Terrifying images surfaced from Nepal, Parliament, the Supreme Court, Singha Durbar, and many other offices engulfed in flames. Even the homes of the Prime Minister, cabinet ministers, and several MPs were set ablaze. Ministers were chased down, and some were even stripped in public. In the last episode, we explain how this movement began. It wasn't just about a social media ban. Years of government failure, nepotism, and incompetence fueled the anger. Even after the fall of the Oli government and resignations, frustration boiled over and spread to the wrong places, at least for some. Thankfully, the army has now stepped in to control the situation, targeting antisocial elements. Meanwhile, Gen Z protesters have distanced themselves from the violence. In fact, before curfew in Kathmandu, they were seen cleaning the streets. But one question remains: how did fire spread so precisely through courts, parliament, and media houses? Was it just coincidence, or were politicians trying to destroy evidence? And an even bigger question: now that Oli's government has fallen, and old leaders have been humiliated and chased away, who will ensure Nepal's youth revolution doesn't go to waste? The fight is not over. The harder task is rebuilding peace and restoring Nepal's future. Will Nepal succeed, or will those waiting to write its obituary celebrate? Last week, Nepal's government banned 26 social media platforms. The anger that was growing online spilled onto the streets. On Monday, thousands of mostly Gen Z protesters marched in Kathmandu and across the country. More than just a social media ban, their protest was against corruption, nepotism, and a collapsing economy. But as tensions escalated, violence broke out. Protesters blamed the government, while the government accused infiltrators of hijacking the movement. By Monday evening, 19 people were dead, most of them young protesters, and even a 12-year-old child. It became the most violent crackdown on demonstrators in Nepal's history. This bloodshed only fueled more rage. By Tuesday, protesters demanded Oli's resignation, and violence spread further. Even after resignations and curfew orders, mobs torched politicians' homes. The crowd even targeted 5 former prime ministers, regardless of party affiliation. Foreign Minister Narayan Prakash was attacked and severely injured. Close Oli ally, Finance Minister Bishnu Prasad, and MP Eknath Dekol were also targeted. Protesters stormed Naku jail, freeing prominent opposition leader Rabi Lamakane, chief of Rastriya Swatantra Party and vocal critic of Oli. Over 1,500 prisoners escaped that night. Reports of more jailbreaks came in from across the country. Altogether, more than 2,400 convicts now roam freely on Nepal streets. Seeing the chaos, Nepal's army intervened on Tuesday night, taking charge of internal security. Curfew was enforced in Kathmandu by Wednesday morning, with soldiers patrolling the streets. People were told to stay home, while Army Chief Ashok Raj appealed for peace, promising dialogue and mediation to rebuild Nepal. But as the dust settles, one question lingers: who is responsible for this destruction? If Gen Z gets the credit for sparking a revolution, then who must take accountability for the arson and looting? As we've explained before, for the past 15 years, only 4 or 5 families have controlled Nepal's politics, passing power among themselves while doing little for ordinary people. The younger generation believes these elites are corrupt, and their anger grew on social media, especially against the extravagant lifestyles of political families and their children. This movement was fueled by years of frustration. Monday's mass protests, joined by older generations, showed just how deeply Nepal's people resented the ruling elite. But while their anger was justified, the violence tarnished the movement. Beating family members, torching buildings, and looting destroyed its moral strength. Antisocial elements thrived in the lawlessness, exploiting the chaos to burn records, free convicts, and settle political scores. Suspicion remains that some politicians themselves may have benefited from destroyed files. This is dangerous for Gen Z's revolution, which was supposed to demand transparency and justice. Even if they distance themselves now, protesters cannot completely deny responsibility. This leaderless, unorganized revolt gave rise to chaos, what some call a Frankenstein monster. It was powerful because it wasn't politically motivated, but without leadership, it became vulnerable. Despite this, The Gen Z revolution was historic, toppling a government in just one day. But its weakness is clear. With no clear leader or plan, the path forward is uncertain. Who will lead Nepal now? Speculation ranges from former Chief Justices like Sushila Karki, known for her anti-corruption stance, to Kathmandu's Mayor Balendra Shah, who openly criticized Oli and supported the youth. But with no consensus, Nepal's future hangs in the balance. What happens next will decide if this movement becomes a turning point or a wasted opportunity. Nepal's constitution itself may need to be rewritten, with youth representation and new anti-corruption safeguards. Until then, an interim government must take charge, but who will lead it remains unclear. The road to peace and stability will be long. Nepal's army says it will only act as a mediator and not seize power, but the question remains, who will compromise and who will rebuild? Nepal's youth have shaken the political system to its core. The country stands at a crossroads: rebuild with patience and unity, or sink deeper into chaos. Whatever the outcome, Nepal's resilience will be tested. Its people have endured earthquakes, storms, and hardships before, and they remain unbreakable. The world is watching to see if this revolution becomes Nepal's new beginning, or just another lost chance.